Here we are at Science with Mrs. Crane and Mr. Einstein, and today we're going to be looking at the Bunsen burner. This device was developed by scientist Robert Bunsen as a way of safely heating things in the lab. Before this development, many people managed to lose eyebrows and burn themselves from chemical explosions from heating things in the lab. It's still actually dangerous to do, so we take a lot of safety precautions, and as long as you do the right thing, you'll be okay. So the first thing we need to do with the Bunsen is, if we're going to go and light it, we need to make sure that the gas hose is attached, that the gas tube is not actually tangled or anything, so that the Bunsen's actually sitting nice and firmly, like this. It's got its base. We can see up here this is the collar that we can move around, and we make sure that that is closed. We also make sure the barrel is not unscrewed slightly, that it's on nice and tight. And we also take a look down the tube, down the barrel, just to make sure there's nothing causing any disruption in there, any bits of rubbish, gunk, maybe bits of dried solid. Often, if somebody's been silly, a matchstick. None of that will help, so the best thing to do is to actually tap it gently upside down and clear out the barrel. Okay, the next thing we do with the Bunsen is that if we're getting ready to light it, we want the air hole closed because we want to have it on the yellow flame, which is our safety flame. Many people get confused at this point. They go, oh, let's put the gas on next. The problem is, if you put the gas on and it takes you a few attempts to light the Bunsen, to light the match first, you actually end up with all this gas starting to fill the area. Now, it makes you sick to smell it, but also it means that when you do strike your match, you could ignite a whole lot more than just the top of the Bunsen, and that could then cause burns, which we don't want. So we leave the gas tap off, and the first thing we do is light a match. Make sure when you light a match, you're holding the box nice and firmly, you're holding the matchstick firmly, and with a bit of pressure, you strike it down the side. Some people haven't had a chance to do this before, so it's good to practice. It's a good skill to have. Notice I'm not holding a match with my hand up. That's a great way of trying to burn your hand again. And when I go to light the Bunsen, I'm not holding it upwards, I'm holding it downwards or maybe parallel. Since I've used up that match, let's get a new one. Strike the match, holding it upwards. Turn the gas on fully, and there we go. Now you notice I didn't hesitate either. You need to make sure you put the gas tap on full, straight away. It doesn't go on half, it's on or it's off. So we don't have a medium and high, we just have on and off. This is a safety flame. You can tell it's a safety flame because it has a bright yellow visible flame that we can see. The reason we call this a safety flame is because of that. And it's not a heating flame because it's actually not hot enough for our purposes. So for example, after a little bit of heating, I've now managed to put soot all over the bottom of this evaporating dish. So it's not something advisable to be heating on this flame because it tends to make a lot of mess. Okay, so to change it to a blue flame, we need to open the air hole and give it more oxygen. More oxygen means the flame is going to burn hotter. At the moment that's an incomplete combustion, and now we get it burning hotter. The flame is a lot harder to see, and you can actually see there's two parts of the flame. There's the part on the inside. That bit on the inside where the lighter blue is actually the area of unburnt gas coming out, and around the top here is where the gas is being burnt. And the rest of the flame is also the area where it's burnt, but that is the point where it's starting to burn. So anywhere in here isn't actually as hot as you think it would be. You can also hear the flame, a roaring sound, because there's enough oxygen mixing in there with it to make it burn at a hotter and a higher temperature. So the gas is being used fully and not partially and making a lot of carbon as this one happened. Okay? This is now hot enough to heat all the different beakers or other equipment that we use in the lab. And the first thing we're going to do today is a demonstration of burning magnesium.